Hey, thank you for joining me. Hope you're doing well. Look around you. What do you see? Look a little deeper. Media, science, education, money, authority, control, conflict. What caused all of this? And more importantly, why have we become immersed in it? Deep down, most of us know this is not the way we should be living. The energy extraction matrix is the system we've all been immersed in since birth. It's inescapable because we are all born into it. Humans are the power source of the energy extraction matrix. We have become no different than batteries being sucked dry. The energy we give out is day after day making it possible for this matrix to exist. We are manifested out of and nourished by energy. Our thoughts, our souls, and our bodies are electromagnetic in nature. We live in a time when man-made electromagnetic frequencies are rampant, and they aim to drown out those with which we humans, and all life on Earth, naturally harmonize with. In order to understand why this man-made electromagnetic pollution is so hazardous to our health, understand that we are energetic beings who radiate an energy field, an aura, which is itself electromagnetic. The physical body cannot remain alive without this auric field. The aura can extend several feet from the body and has numerous levels, like the growth rings on a tree. It is the ever-changing signature of our spiritual alignment and journey. Bioelectrical charges flow through the body's nerves. These nerves activate our muscles and all of our organs and glands, connect the body with our brain and with our thoughts and feelings. Our nerves are the channel through which we act, both consciously and unconsciously. And through this nervous connection to the chakras and aura, we are connected to both our physical and spiritual environments. Science would have us believe we are purely the physical interactions within us, never telling us the truth, that the physical and spiritual are permanently intertwined in constant electrical circulation. In 1952, Winfried Otto Schumann discovered the natural pulse of the Earth, beating at a frequency of normally 7.83 Hertz. Our optimal brainwave pattern actually duplicates this Schumann resonance. The frequency of 7.83 Hertz is within the frequency range of alpha and theta rhythms in the brain. Beta frequencies are experienced when we are consciously alert, or we feel agitated, tense, afraid, with frequencies ranging from 13 to 30 pulses per second in the Hertz scale. The low-level beta states are important in many everyday tasks, but if you are in fight or flight, then you are in mid to high beta rhythm brain state. To maintain robust health, quality of life, and have a positive outlook, then avoidance of mid-high beta rhythm states are mandatory. Theta frequencies are experienced when we're dreaming. This frequency is kind of like being on top of a mountain, totally absorbed by what's going on around you, and being in the know that God is real and that everything just is. When you're feeling this, and you can achieve it through meditation, you're in a theta state. Its frequency is around 4 to 8 pulses per second. Alpha frequencies are experienced when we are in a state of physical and mental relaxation, aware yet calm. Its frequency is around 7 to 13 pulses per second. Alpha is the bridge between beta and theta. Alpha waves govern daydreams, fantasy, and denotes a state of consciousness detached and relaxed. Someone who masters cultivating the alpha state successfully bridges the conscious and subconscious mind. There are man-made electromagnetic fields that surround us, and these overemphasize the high to mid-level beta state, keeping us in a rigid state of reaction and fear. These fields are called EMFs, short for electric and magnetic fields, and they come from most man-made electrical technology. Our cell phones and the towers that transmit to them, Wi-Fi, radio frequencies, electrical wiring, high-voltage power lines, and even power outlets. These frequencies that trigger mid to high-level beta waves are responsible for much of the division within our brains. If the two hemispheres of our brains are synchronized with each other at the Schumann resonance, they work more harmoniously and with maximum flow. In my videos, I've talked about the suppressed principles of the divine feminine, corresponding to our right brain. When we do the work to incorporate both gendered aspects of ourselves, our frequencies become naturally harmonious and receptive to positive manifestation, away from the overemphasized beta states, and thus we become divine, like two intertwined vines growing upward toward our true potential. Let's move away from brain frequencies and talk about our body frequency. A normal, healthy body frequency is 62 to 72 hertz. When this frequency drops, the immune system is compromised. Low frequencies make changes in the physical body. Middle frequencies make changes in the emotional body, which in turn makes changes in the physical body. High frequencies make spiritual changes, which in turn makes changes in all of the bodies. In conscious circles, we constantly hear, raise your frequency, or raise your vibration. The more we align ourselves with spiritual principles of love and compassion, the higher our vibration, the more cycles per second in the Hertz scale. So the more opportunity we have to influence our reality, our physical and emotional bodies, and thus our fate. Emitting a higher frequency is indicative of becoming less dense. This is currently a very dense plane, but it doesn't have to be. Manifestation is not a slow process. It happens very rapidly, but only when we're aligned with our higher selves and vibrating high. This matrix aims to have us drenched in toxic belief systems, chemical medication, toxic food and water, and poisonous air. If the body and mind completely dissolves in this soup of prescribed pollution, one cannot rise to a high frequency. ELF, meaning extreme low frequency signals, is a high-tech weapon that's used to control one's mind and even body. The 1989 June-July issue of the German publication Raum and Zeit carried an article by Dr. W. Volkrow titled, "Can Human Beings Be Manipulated by ELF Waves?" The article stated, if interference signals are superimposed on the natural signals generated by the body as a carrier, the brain could be presented with stimulated states that we consciously perceive, but which do not appear as reality. The manipulation of human beings by means of ELF waves is relatively easy to perform. What this means is those operating these technologies can implant thoughts into your head and even speak to you, and you will think it's your own self thinking these things. Sounds like science fiction? Well, take a look at these patents. In many people, these technologies and frequencies exacerbate mental illness, feelings of agitation, poor concentration, and lack of focus, migraines, and other negative manifestations. Most of us are not sensitive enough to consciously sense these subtle changes in vibrations. We feel these energy shifts unconsciously. Although the effects of electromagnetic disruption are subtle, the long-range impact can be significant. And considering the fact that we are vibrant, bioelectrical beings, it can't be good to be consistently bathed in EMFs and ELF waves. What also contributes to this electromagnetic soup is smart meters, TVs, and chemtrails. Saturating human beings with heavy metals is not only toxic in the usual sense, it also makes them more sensitive to man-made radio and electromagnetic signals, becoming as living antennas. And this is what's happening to us. If HARP is Batman, then chemtrails are Robin. They need each other to function the best. Chemtrails create an environment where HARP is able to manipulate weather and even minds. And because our bodies are full of heavy metals now, our bodies are like antennas, and the frequencies coming from HARP are able to manipulate us. If you're not on one yet, go on a plant-based diet. This will help you in eliminating heavy metals more frequently and with more efficiency. In the 1930s, scientific studies in musical frequencies best suited for war making were funded by the Rothschild-Rockefeller Alliance, represented by the Rockefeller Foundation and U.S. Navy. In 1936, after much research, the American Standards Association all of a sudden recommended that the A above middle C be tuned to 440 Hz as the standard tuning. Eventually, this was imposed internationally, with the International Standards Organization promoting the 440 Hz tuning in 1953. Up until this point, the standard tuning was 432 Hz, a very harmonious tuning. 440 Hz music provokes fear, hostility, materialism, and an overall disconnect from nature. As you can see in cymatics, 432 Hz is very harmonious, promoting a calm alpha state. There's a lot of people who consider modern music annoying. What few people realize is that the standard Anglo-American tuning for instruments and voices was instituted for the purpose of inducing mass hysteria. Nobody can take away your power because the truth is, you are a divine being with powerful creative abilities. Your fluctuating electromagnetic vibrations and everything you think and speak directly affects reality. Nobody can take away this generative power from you, but you can be coaxed into certain belief systems, therefore generating the very reality that those belief systems create. The direction of our consciousness determines what we manifest. We've all heard, energy goes where attention flows. Our focus is a vehicle for creation. We power this reality with our intent. When we intend to buy into limiting belief systems, we uphold the very limitations that bind us. So we're fucked then, right? Everything is doom and gloom. No, no, that's not true. The biggest culprit is not what's being done to us, but rather our reactions to them. Many of us remain in the cycle of scarcity. Hatred brings forth fear, which by its definition leads to resistance. Over time, these three elements give way to scarcity, and therefore, the cycle remains on loop. This cycle is what is truly keeping our reality stagnant and on an energetic lockdown. This matrix aims to get us to believe in a fear-based paradigm. Money, war, government, masochism, everything that stems from fear is what we see around us. Fear keeps being pumped into the collective, and when we submit to this fear, we find ourselves confined to a reality with fear as the foundation. As a result, we start resisting. This is not the answer. We must let go of hatred, which is responsible for creating the fear, and instead move towards love. Why is fear wrong? Because it blocks positive manifestation. Any fear within the psyche acts as malware, dampening your manifestation capabilities. As beings of creation, we manifest the best realities when we have energy focused into abundance and harmony. Though the media would have you believe otherwise, it's not the reality that we're in which has become polarized, but our perception of it. The quote, bad in this world is simply a negation of the good and wholesome. We must merge with the light and dark, the yin and yang, the masculine and feminine, and stop feeding into extremes. Without a polarized perception of the world, over time, things would flow without fear and therefore without resistance. As spiritual beings, we cannot be immersed in realities that we have not consented to. The energy extraction matrix relies on one and one thing only: consent. It may appear that the debasement of our society is being done to us, that the restrictions are imposed on us. But the truth is that we have bought into illusions and have given into the cycle of scarcity. We have energetically agreed to these confines. The technologies and manipulations around us only function properly when we align ourselves with the frequencies that they are trying to keep us in. Yes, I'm saying that high-frequency beings are not as affected by chemtrails, by EMFs, by subliminal mind control. because they have risen above the frequencies that these technologies operate under. This is why it's important to internalize that we are calling the shots, every single one. I'm informing you, the elite aren't actually doing anything to us, but rather are coaxing us into doing these things to ourselves. It's like the famous tale of the cooked frog. If you put a frog in a pan with boiling water, it will jump out and save itself. But if you put the frog in a pan where the water is lukewarm and just gradually increase the heat, it will be slowly cooked before noticing and explode. Exactly the same has happened to us. We have been brainwashed, little by little, with the deceptive and subversive dogmas of the modern world. Healthcare, media, education, entertainment streams. We have indeed been educated to be slaves inside of this matrix. And many of us, because of it, carry this feeling of helplessness, further surrendering our electromagnetic charges and individual frequencies to be guided by the hidden forces of this world. As a divine source being, you want to relax and explore, have adventures, be filled with the insight of the universe and of your own essence. But like clockwork, forces aim to extract things from you all day: your money, your time, your physicality, your emotional terrain. And because of this, many of us wake up at age 40 or 50 and ask, where has the time gone? Knowing deep down that the years of extraction have left you feeling unfulfilled. Of course, this is only if you have agreed to the terms of this matrix. The more of us that disagree and break away from the system, even step by step, the more empowered we become. This matrix aims to lower our health and vitality, our emotional endurance, our well-being, our fertility, our IQ, our sense of humanity, and most importantly, this matrix aims to lower our sense of empowerment. So the first step to overcoming this situation is by recognizing the power within us. When we clear our mind of negative archetypes and patterns of being, we wake up to our full potential. Doing this very work helps us reclaim our energy so we can start directing it ourselves. I advocate meditation, introspection, releasing old habits, living from the heart, sun gazing, earthing, and a healthy plant-based diet. There's many paths to the same outcome, but the point is, we must go inwards and remember who we are. Many of us have never truly met ourselves. Now is the time. It's not always easy, and even myself, I go through a lot of pain in order to dive further into who I am. But if we can be honest with ourselves, we get closer and closer to the essence that is pure love and divine. I usually discuss topics relating to flat earth on my channel, and I often hear people ask, why does it matter if the earth is flat or not? Here's why. When we believe we live on a spinning globe in endless space, we believe in the Big Bang. Because of the Big Bang, the universe unfolded in a single random event, creating planets, stars, and all of space. Dust gathered and formed Earth, which began as a giant mass of molten rock. Eventually, things cooled down, and life developed. This theory of the Big Bang leads us to the idea that humans evolved from monkeys. Again, a random cosmic event with little to no spiritual significance or divine intervention. It's important that we step out of these hand-fed belief systems in order to eject ourselves from the energy extraction matrix. Flat Earth shatters all of these false beliefs and helps us take a step closer to the truth. When we believe in evolution, the randomness of the creation of our world, that we came from monkeys, we use our collective consciousness to reinforce a world in which spiritual forces are considered nonsense, giving us a mindset which tells us that the material is the only real aspect of reality. In focusing only on the material and its processes, like scientism advocates, we remain nihilistic and submissive to what's given to us, rather than recognizing we are the ones in control of how this reality organizes itself. Nothing passes into the physical before being processed in the spiritual. The ether is the model for the physical, not the other way around. To influence reality, we must first intend to influence it in a particular way. There's a lot of interesting things going on in this place. The earth is flat. The sun above our heads is a conscious vehicle for creation. We are not monkeys, we are spirits inhabiting flesh avatars. And if you want to dive more into the nature of the flat earth reality, check out my other videos. In the past, I've talked about archons. At this point, it doesn't really matter what you call them. Demons, archons, jinn, these are negative, parasitic entities who currently use Earth as a fuel station, as a hotspot for energetic vampirism. Most of this work is done within our minds and in the astral planes. These parasites provoke negative thought forms in order to feed off of them. They provoke low vibratory emotions. This is their food, our extracted energy. Many of these beings are in direct communication with the elite in black magic ceremonies and rituals. It's like an interdimensional delivery service. Entities extract our negative emotions and use them to maintain the cycle of scarcity. In other words, our energy is being harnessed and stored into interdimensional centers, energy banks, and this is what the elite pull from when they want to manipulate and influence reality. But we are not helpless to these manipulations. We are love at the core. As far as I'm concerned, anything but love is a virus within the self. If it's not love, it's not you. When you starve the mind and heart of negativity, you starve these beings. They must go on to find another source of fuel. Meditation is a vital tool for remaining centered, getting away from polarity, and moving toward stability. Maintaining this vessel is important too. Fasting, exercising, following a plant-based diet, staying away from fluoride, and eliminating toxins as much as possible are all practices that should be cultivated for overall vitality. When we take care of ourselves emotionally, spiritually, and physically, it's easier to identify the influence of these entities. I alone cannot change society for the better. This is the common narrative. Yes, you alone cannot change the collective, but upon transforming your own consciousness, by overturning the conditions that limit your divine potential, you further break free from the energy extraction matrix. Too many minds leaving this system removes the processing ability of this matrix. Without our consent, it shrivels up. We can all do this, one by one, and like I've said over and over again, it doesn't happen from getting angry, protesting, or demanding change. It's an internal process. Each of us has a responsibility to cultivate a positive inner space. Have no fear. Trust yourself. Live to your full potential. And relax, everything is going to be okay. Most of who make up the elite are not divine creations like we are. They are something else. I believe they are reptilian at the core, but I think it's safe to say we don't 100% know. But it's not important. They don't have the same manifestation abilities as us. While they seem above us at times, they are actually 100% codependent on our willingness to buy into their system. This codependency is seen in their efforts to divide and conquer. I choose to see this as their desperate attempts to keep us in perpetual Stockholm syndrome. There's an awakening happening, and everybody can feel it. In 2012, it started off slow, and it's picking up. So amazing things are happening. We are in an energy extraction matrix, but my advice to all of you is stay in your power, eject limiting belief systems. Deep down, you know it's toxic, and you know what the solutions are. Your energy is yours to keep, and do with what you want. The fact that this matrix exists shows that the elite know the power of our consciousness. Nothing is occulted any longer, because truth is pouring in. Merge into that truth. Now is the time. Align yourselves with love, and everything will be okay. When enough of us do this, the energy extraction matrix will dissolve on its own. Thank you for watching. Please take care of yourselves. I really love all of your comments, all of your support. You guys keep me going, so endless gratitude there. I love you all.